Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Somos Moss, the official podcast of Somos Moss NM and your source for the latest news and notes on New Mexico United and the New Mexico Runners. My name, of course, is Seth Bidoff. Joining me this week, the one, the only Jacob Terrell, and coming back yet again, can't thank her enough, Christina. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Hopefully you both had a fantastic weekend. Hopefully it was better than the result we had at the lab on Saturday. So Jacob, right before we went live, you had a question and I cut you off. You did.
I don't know if I want to know the answer given the look that you gave me. But what is your little thing there below your name?
So I have some personal news. I am officially done with college. I am a college graduate. I have my bachelor's of science in human resources management.
Yay, congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, it's I finished up, turned in all my assignments over the weekend, and I got my final grades in today. So conferral date is Thursday, and then within about a week and a half or so, I'll have my diploma and everything. And so yeah, officially a college graduate. So
what does that do for you other than put you in some debt?
At the moment, not a whole lot.
Okay.
So this, even with the degree in the HR field, people like to see professional certifications. So the bachelor's degree is great. I'm also working towards my SHRM CP, which is a Society of Human Resources people certified professional. So working on that as well. So no, officially done with school. Have no intention of going back at this point. So
good, yes. Smart.
So
well, I bet it feels good too, though.
It
gives
does.
you a boost.
It does. Yeah, I've been talking to Melanie about it, and it's one of those things like I've been going nonstop for the past 3 years. So, between work and school and kids and second jobs and so many other things going on, it feels good to have that done and off the plate now, and frees up some time for some other things. So it does feel good. Yeah. So it is through SNHU. Some folks know that SNHU does have or at least they had a partnership with MLS for many, many years. Several of the ads they have had running featured Tim Howard, former Memphis 901. I may still be involved with Memphis 901. I could be wrong, but fully online, great, really good thing. I'm glad to be done. So, thank you, Josh. Thank you. Met Josh over the weekend out of the match on Saturday. So good. It was good to meet Josh in person finally.
Great guy, that Josh guy. Yeah. Great human being.
Yeah, I had some good conversation prior to the match with him and Earl, and So, Jacob, I know you had asked me earlier if I had a burning question. I did not have anything prepared. You've got one.
I do.
So
I do.
Let's have at it.
It's a two-parter.
Okay.
Thursday, Halloween, great time usually. One, I want to know your favorite costume that you had growing up. And then two, what's the one candy that if you got in your bag as a kid, not as an adult, but as a kid, if you can remember one candy that you were just like, oh my gosh, yes, and then was all excited. And then if you want to, a one candy that you were like, what the heck is this?
Fuck candy corn.
It's not terrible.
I'll take fuck candy corn, man. No.
I think the worst ones were the ones in, this might date me, but the black wrappers or the orange wrappers that were like maybe peanut butter, I don't know, mystery flavored gunk.
I like those. I like those because it was like taffy. I think it was taffy.
That's like, generous.
Yeah,
that's generous.
Probably so. I like those. I actually like those. I can't do candy corn.
That's the least surprising thing I've ever heard, Seth, is that you liked the worst candy in the world. That's
I grew up with butterscotch candies. So
butterscotch candy is great.
Yeah, I don't mind butterscotch candies, but those
yeah, that type of stuff. But
black and orange. I'd take candy corn over those mystery black and orange candies any day.
I can't do it. And I know there's also a big debate between like Whoppers or Milk Duds.
Whoppers,
hands down.
Milk Duds.
No, Christina. No.
That's like eating chalk.
Oh no.
Yeah. No, can't do it.
I mean, I guess I guess you can't bat 1,000. So Christina was batting 1,000. Now she swings and misses on this one. I guess that should be expected, but I cannot express how wrong you are. You're more wrong on that than Seth is on the candy corn over the mystery dunk. Like the milk duds are disgusting.
No, they're good.
Hot take. Candy corn over milk duds.
Oh no.
Yes. So I hadn't had a milk dud, and I can speak on this because I hadn't had a milk dud in a long time. And then Friday, when we were at the football game, I had a milk dud and threw it out of my mouth faster than anything in the world. It was so not good.
Yeah, see, Whoppers, at least you get the crunch, but with the milk
Whoppers
duds,
are
it's
great.
just, Whoppers are phenomenal. Josh, Reese's and King, don't let Chris Hurst hear you say that. Chris Hurst will disagree with you about peanut butter and chocolate.
Don't bring up Reese's on this show because there are some people on here that have terrible Reese's takes.
I love Reese's. What are you talking about? I love Reese's.
No. When we talked about the best Reese's product conversation, that was when you had a terrible take. Because he had the white chocolate Easter eggs higher than anything else, basically, and that is worse than Christina's takeover of milk duds over Whoppers. Just
that is worse.
Terrible candy takes all around.
I'm partial to white chocolate. I can't help it.
Okay. I need a Halloween costume that you remember from when you were little when you liked it, that you really liked. I know you guys are older than me. Maybe you can't remember. I'm sorry.
I cannot remember.
I don't remember.
Okay, then something that your kids have dressed up as that you really liked.
Okay. I think my favorite was when my son was a fighter pilot. That was a pretty cute outfit.
Did he have a little plastic jet that went around him?
No, but he did have the aviation glasses, the mirrored aviation glasses
the bomber jacket. Do you have a bomber jacket?
Yeah, he looked super cute.
I can't really remember. I'm sure I dressed up given my age. I'm sure I dressed up as like a Ninja Turtle or Batman or a Power Ranger at some point.
What about the kids?
Like, as far as the kids go, my son was Marshmallow a couple of years ago.
Okay.
He was dressed up as a marshmallow. He really enjoyed that one. Alex, that same year, had had a stick man costume. It was all black and had like neon, like glow sticks in it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He had that.
I did that sort of a take on that for the first Meow Wolf night in 2019.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
What are the kids being this year? Or Jacob, what's your answer first of all? And then what are the kids being this year?
So we, I'm going to say it was 3 years ago. We did a Scooby family theme. So my littlest at the time was Shaggy, and then Zeke was Scooby, and then I was Fred, and my wife was Velma. And so that was a pretty big hit. This year, Zeke is going to be Dogman, which is a book that he likes to read.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be Dogman. Xander is going to be a hunter, because ever since I went on that antelope hunt at the beginning of October, he's been all about hunting. And so basically I'm just throwing him in camouflage and giving him a fake gun. And he's walking around. And then the baby is going to be Bingo, and Lily's going to be Bluey.
Aw.
Okay.
And then I don't think me and Allie are dressing up this time.
I know my kids have asked me. I'm going, tired parent.
Yeah. So we also had a trunk or treat here at the park on Sunday. And so they dressed up for that, and they all dressed up as little rangers, little park rangers. So we had them in the green pants and the tan shirt that I wear. And then I have badge stickers. I put a badge sticker on there, and then I grabbed one of the patches from my shirts because I have a bunch in my office and attached them to the arm like mine. And they ran around looking like little park rangers all day, helping me out. And so that was fun.
Super cute.
Yeah, it's always fun to see what the kids come up with. Logan this year gone back and forth. He wanted to be Wolverine at first. We went out looking for a Wolverine costume, and the guy at Spirit basically said there's no Wolverine costumes anywhere. So okay, right, okay. What about Deadpool? And so we were looking around the store, completely out of Deadpool costumes as well. Found one online. It did get here in time, so Logan will be Deadpool this year. And then Alex picked out something. He's it's Ghostface from like Scream.
Yeah,
But it's like red, and he went. We were at Goodwill the other day, and he found this like manacle that had like a scythe at the end of it. So it's like $2. He's like, "Can I do this?" I said, "Yeah, sure, whatever." So
do you remember the Ghostface masks that had the pump?
With the fake blood.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah.
Elite.
Christina, do yours still trick or treat? Are they too old for that?
Well, my son has, oddly enough, he's never been very into Halloween. So he's more of a stay at home and maybe hand out candy if he feels like it. Mm-hmm. My daughter still trick or treats, and she and her best friend she's going to be Buzz Lightyear, and her best friend's going to be Woody.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
With a teenager girl spin on it.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, anytime, as long as my thing is, I tell the boys, whatever you want to be, and it's perfectly fine. I'm not going to stop you. Just, give me enough heads up so we can figure out what it is you want to do. Because then my job as a parent is, which neighborhood do we go to? So we've done the trunk or treat in the past. We've done things like that, but we're hitting up the Northeast Heights this year. So
see, we don't have that issue because there's one neighborhood. Mm-hmm. It's just the whole town here.
Yeah. Well, so Jacob, you grew up here, and Christina, I think you did as well. Yes. Mm-hmm. Where was your favorite place to go in town? Like, what was the neighborhood you would go to?
Well, when I was growing up, Tanawan was a big one. Getting into Tanawan, they always had like the full size candy bars. I do remember one time going in middle school and went to Sandia Heights, like the foothills, not realizing that it's like a trek between every single house. You had to work hard for that candy. Yeah. I live up in the foothills, so my neighborhood is not a great neighborhood for my kids because it's very, very hilly.
Yeah.
My daughter her best friend lives down by the ACC, so I think they bus kids down there.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but now that the weather finally turned slightly, it's supposed to be close to freezing here tonight, so it might actually be cool enough, on Thursday to go trick or treating. Mm-hmm. I can tell you, it was tremendously windy here today. I don't know if it was bad out where you're at, Jacob, but it was bad here today. It's finally fall. I think we can officially say that. And no better time for that than playoffs. New Mexico United obviously heading into the playoffs next week against Phoenix Rising FC. We knew that result before even halftime Saturday night, because Rising absolutely shat the bed in their match on Saturday. And to be fair, we were not much better. So before we get into talking about next week and the playoff implications, or the first ever home playoff match for New Mexico United, we got to talk about Memphis. This was a match. I mean, United obviously lost by a final 3-2. Not really a great showing from the off, and Coach Quill talked about it in the post-match presser. Giving up the early goal, mentally shutting off again, giving up the second goal. I mean, Coach even said it. We're not playing like a first place team right now. I mean, when you're watching this on Saturday night, obviously you see the goal in the second minute. What's your initial thought here on a night that's supposed to be where we're celebrating and getting ready for the playoffs and hopefully building some momentum?
The first goal, I thought, okay, well, here we go. More of the same. Mm-hmm. It was also a little bit funny to see how much they were really pushing, and like the work rate, basically in stoppage time. It's like, where was this energy 80 minutes ago. It would have been pretty cool if they had actually tied it up. I mean, I guess that would have been a nice little bonus, but I don't know. It felt like what Coach Will said. They just seemed sort of checked out, not really showing that drive.
Hey, Jacob, what about you? I mean, again, this is one of those nights where, we talked, Christina and I talked about it last week. You want to build some momentum. You want to kind of get going as you head into the playoffs. And now here we are, 5 matches without a win. And not exactly the form we would want to go in to the playoffs with. And this showing kind of makes you go, are we ready? Are we spent? Are we done with this? I mean, give me some positives from this match that we can look at going forward.
Well, look, I've been of the mindset since we clinched first, and with our schedule, we have played teams that are still fighting for something. Memphis had something to play for. If they, by the time the match kicked off, they kind of knew with the Vegas result that was going on that they at least had an outside shot at hosting a playoff match if they could come away with 3 points. And so they still wanted that. Obviously, when you're fighting for that, 4th, 5th, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th spot, like the race that we had for those positions, if the chance to host a playoff game, obviously you want to play at home. There's also like a huge financial boost there to host that playoff game, I would assume. And so I don't know if it's something that's built into their contracts or anything like that, but it's still something to fight for. They came out, they showed that, they get the goal. I thought we fought back to get that second goal, or to get that tying goal. That was one thing that I like to see. I like that we didn't just shut off and we didn't kind of just bury our heads. And then, they get 2 goals that I'm not going to put them on Tambakis. I'm not really going to put them on anything, but they are goals that we typically haven't been letting in this season. Mm-hmm. But they were aggressive. They were definitely the team that was attacking more to get those 2 goals. And I mean, that one was like from 30 yards out, if not more. And so it's not a high percentage look, kind of fluky. You can place blame wherever you want to place blame, but they're not things that I'm necessarily worried about moving forward. This team has been in cruise control for a month now, essentially, if not over a month. Yes, I would have liked to have seen a W. I'd feel a little bit better going into the playoffs if we had had a win under our belt. But at the same time, and we'll talk about it moving forward or later in the show with the matchup against Phoenix. Yes, we lost against Phoenix, but we've kind of dominated those 2 matchups in a lot of ways. And so to me, these last 5 games, anything that we got out of them, we're just going to be icing on the cake. I'm pissed that we didn't get to 60 points. But it is what it is. It was just a number that I wanted to reach, not necessarily anything that matters. And so it's really just going to come down to how do we perform on Sunday. And hindsight is 2020. If we go in and we win on Sunday, then I think everybody's going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, we weren't worried at all about the last 5 games. And if we lose, then everybody's going to be able to point to it and be like, oh, we've sucked for a long time. We were never a good 1 seed, blah, 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 blah. And so it just kind of is what it is.
I do want to point out several weeks ago, we were talking about end of the season, talking about points and where we might end up. I do believe I said somewhere around 57 points.
So you're bragging about being a Scrooge McDuck right now. That's what you're bragging about? I don't hear it. I don't hear it at all.
I was way more optimistic.
Yeah, there were definitely folks were definitely a bit more optimistic about where we're going to end up. But and looking at the end of the schedule, we knew it was going to be tough, right? We knew that there were going to be opportunities for us to pick up points. We knew there were going to be opportunities for us to lose points. Now, did we expect to go winless in the final 5 matches of the season? Absolutely not. I think that
Real quick, this finish from Vargas is filthy.
I'm convinced he was offside.
No, he was not. He was not.
I'm from my angle. I had a pretty good look at it. I was convinced he was offside.
He comes running from a mile back.
I mean, it's a great goal. It's a great finish. Like it was.
No, he's clearly on. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. It was.
It's the one that's back between the two players for United. You can't really see him.
Oh
right there.
yeah, there. Yeah,
but he's clearly on.
Yeah. He did keep on. Yeah, it was. I was convinced. I was like, I don't know how he's onside in that, but yeah.
I loved watching him.
Yeah,
he was a breath of fresh air when he came on.
Yeah,
So I believe Quill talked about it in the post game.
I've got the audio.
Play that shit.
Yep.
Let me know when you guys are ready to go. All right. Head coach Eric Quill, guys.
Coach, obviously not the result you wanted. It's been a tough couple of weeks here leading into the playoffs. Where are you at right now? Where do you feel the team's at heading into next week?
I thought tonight was a clear indicator who needs to be in, who needs to be out. Mistakes made that can't be made. So,
clear indicator of who needs to be in and who needs to be out.
Mm-hmm.
That and one thing. So Quill has definitely been more, like not as friendly. Like I had multiple conversations with Troy and Zach of like family stuff and everything like that. And Quill has definitely been more like business oriented. But man, does he give good quotes in the freaking pressers compared to Troy and Zach, man.
Yeah,
Troy and Zach were all very much like, no. And Quill
PC.
after wins is pretty much just like, yeah, whatever. But man, after losses, he can be fired up and give you some really good stuff. Real quick, on the play that's happening right here, we had multiple great chances right there at the end that probably should have capitalized on, but that's not here nor there. So,
so close.
Who is he talking about? Who needs to be in and who needs to be out?
Marlon.
Yep.
So who's out?
And as I was Nikki, I feel like
Christina, I loved that.
I hate to say it, and I was really excited. Like I was calling for Nikki to get more minutes. But you wouldn't even know he was on the pitch. He just was real quiet.
He had that first chance. I think the very first chance on goal that we had, where like two defenders fall down in the box, and he ends up coming out of there with it, and puts a shot not anywhere near frame, and that was his only like semi highlight of the night. And so yeah, I'm very interested to see what the lineup looks like though, because of that quote. And you can play more of it if you feel like you need to, but that was the quote that I was looking at, because I look at that and say, man, if I bet we're going to see Vargas and Bruce in that starting lineup, and probably Hurst too, but it's very curious to see how that starting lineup looks. Because another thing that I've been wondering is like we kind of switched it up. We went to 3 at the back against who was that? Orange County, maybe. I think it was Orange County, and so we've kind of switched things up. But I think he's saving some stuff for Sunday and the playoffs moving forward. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see not like a huge drastic change, like a formation change. I think we still stick with that 4-2-3-1 kind of formation. But I wouldn't be surprised if you see some players in different positions, some different players in the starting lineup, and then maybe some different intensity and attack and press and stuff like that we've kind of been hanging out, kind of just meandering for the last 5 weeks.
Yeah, I'll go and play the rest of it because he has some really good stuff, like you said, But no, so prior to the match, it came out that Nikki was getting the start, and that Nikki was going to be playing in the 10. Christina, to your point, Nikki was largely invisible in this match. This was not a strong match for Nikki at all. Nikki does not.
Jacob's ghost disagrees.
I'm okay.
Nicky does not fit that 10. He doesn't do a very good job. I felt like he did. I feel like he did not do a great job of distributing the ball very well, which is what a 10 needs to do. He's definitely better in that 6 or the 8. I think he's definitely better at the 8. But putting him in that 10 just did not work. And that's why I think, Marlon needs to be starting. And I think this is a very clear indication from coach that he made a mistake with the team sheet on Saturday night. And I think we do see Marlon on Sunday. Now, if we don't, I don't know what to say, but I think Marlon clearly needs to be in there. I think Zico clearly needs to be in there. But yeah, let's hear what the rest of what coach had to say.
This is the time of year where we got to make tough decisions. This is an audition for a lot of guys. I was proud of our subs for how they came to the game and they went for it.
So I want to pause this real quickly. Now, the first set of subs that coach made 4 substitutions all at once. That tells you there's a problem, right? Now, when you look at who played well and who didn't, there was another name to me that stood out as not having a strong night, and that was Kalen. Kalen did not have a strong mental night. If you watch, I believe it was on the second goal, just completely lost his mark, completely got lost his man. He got played in behind, and it wasn't an athletic thing. It wasn't a physicality thing. It was a mental thing. Kalen just was not there. Now, we've talked all season long about the partnership at the back between Tony Herbert and Talon Maples, and Tony's been missing for some time now. We haven't really seen him. We've seen Maples a lot, and we've seen Kalen a lot more. Do you think there's an argument to be made for benching your captain to go back to that pairing that we had for much of the season with Herbert and Maples? Or do you think benching the captains sends the wrong message?
I don't think it would send the wrong message. I feel like Herbert and Maples seem to click really well in the earlier part of the season. I'm really curious why he hasn't been playing at all. Well, not even getting subbed on, right? Is he nursing an injury or?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you saw him at a tailgate a while back with.
No.
Was it not Herbert?
I saw
you saw Herbert.
I think you said you saw Abdi.
It was Abdi and Harris. And maybe like 2 others.
So they were all injured. We did get an update from coach on Abdi, so that's in this clip as well.
Yeah, so. That did not sound promising.
So back to the original question. No, if Herbert's healthy, you play Herbert and Maples if that's what you think gives you the best chance to win. And I would be surprised if Quill doesn't think that that's what gives us the best chance to win. And I'd be surprised if Kalen let that affect him and brought. I'd be surprised if he used that to bring down the morale in that locker room. I think he would be all for it, and because that's been our best center back duo all year. And I thought Kalen has played overall very well this year. But Herbert's length and speed and ability to get to pretty much anything with his head because of his athleticism and his height, mixed with Talon's grit and determination and just kind of overall size and strength back there, are the perfect combination of people back there. And so I think that's probably what we're going to see.
Yeah. All right, back to coach.
But we've got some tough decisions to make this week because we can't play like that way we played in the first 65 minutes and think that that's going to get it done. So disappointed, and I mean, the first goal is unacceptable. And then you're on your heels. In the playoffs, you give up goals. Tactics get stingy. They go play low. But we got the goal we need, and then we fell asleep again at the wheel. So to give up 3 goals at home and a chance, an opportunity like this to play in front of a crowd like this is extremely disappointing. I'll take full blame for the result. but we have to be better, and we got to be really ready to go. Maybe now that our backs are against the wall in such a way, even though we're at home, but we have a 1-5 game, so I don't think we're going to scare anybody, which is okay by me. I think maybe we've had humility hasn't been here like it should be. So now it's humility better be here, because we've seen what's happening here last few times at home, and it's unacceptable. It can't happen. It won't happen.
Coach, underlying statistics very different than the score. More than tripled their XG, more shots on goal, better possession. Is the difference just finishing?
The difference is is moments. We lost focus in the first goal. Look at me, guys. I mean, I don't even know how it's a goal. It's absolutely asleep. And so, yeah, the game can show stats that are misleading. But the bottom line is we have to have a mentality to start a game that we're all locked in. And we can't, when the ball's in the air, if you lose that first aerial duel, it means you're soft. It means you're soft and your mentality's not there tonight. We lost the first aerial duel, cross comes in, right? And we're not physical with our guys, and we're letting guys run where they want, and that's just unacceptable. This is a man's game. This is a man's game. You got to play like a man, and that means being physical and knocking bodies and knocking guys off their routes. If you're gonna let guys run where they want, that's what would be one and done.
Despite the result, Coach, Marlon Vargas does come in on a moment, has his own. Can you talk about that a little bit?
I'm proud of Marlon. To be honest, I was on the fence. I should have started him based on.
So right there. There again, you've got Coach. Now, Coach did say, the loss is on him, right? He did say that he takes full blame. And I mean, that's what a coach should say. He's obviously not going to throw his players under the bus, right? But I think it's clear watching this match that, and I don't want to say that no one cared. I don't want to say that that the players weren't invested, but they certainly weren't performing to the level that we needed to see, that they needed to be at. And it's, I mean, with Marlon, he is a guy who's been dynamic in the minutes that he's had, and I'm genuinely surprised we've not seen him more, particularly during this stretch where we have been struggling. I think in midfield with him and Zico could be really, really fun to see. Now that they're both back, both healthy, both going. I would love to see them both start on Sunday.
It's going to be interesting to see who Quill ends up starting. He said to expect it. Well, obviously the A squad, but I don't know. I got the sense that he thinks people might be a little surprised.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's more he does have to make a decision, right? He does have to, what he needs to do is, no matter who it is, no matter what they do in training, whatever, if he believes that someone is going to give us the best chance at winning, they're the ones that need to be in there. It doesn't need to be out of loyalty or wearing the band or so-and-so's gotten so many minutes or whatever. If he feels Hurst, he's the best to give a best option we have, put in start Hurst, start Marlon, start Zico, start whoever. If he truly believes that Kalen is the better option at center back over Talon or Tony, that's what he's got to do. But when you come to a situation where we're down 2 right backs now, for the season, you've got Will, who did a phenomenal job on Saturday. I thought Will did really, really well on Saturday. It's how do you address things like that? Coach gave us, and we'll go ahead and stop playing the clip there, but I asked Coach for an update on the health of some guys. There's a very real chance that we will not see Abdi for the playoffs. Maybe if we make it, to the 3rd round, maybe, but he's still walking around. He's still wearing a brace. He's not 100% in training. Harry's not 100% in training. There are guys that aren't there. They're not ready. So, people have asked about Harry. Like, chance we may not see Harry again. We may not see Abdi again this season. I did get an update on Turi. I did get the official diagnosis on Turi. We talked about how bad his injury looked, right? No bone damage at all, which is astounding to me. Yeah. With how that looked. The bad news is he tore every ligament in his knee. So there's a very real chance we don't see Turi at all next season. Maybe late in maybe September, October, maybe, but he's got a long road to recovery ahead of him. Like, we've seen how long it's taken Christian to come back from his first ACL tear. Like, so, but to Quill's point, following up on that was, we have the talent, we have the depth, we should be in a good position for the playoffs, given who we have. So, that being said, I mean, from what you've seen, especially in these last 5 weeks, is it mental? Is it physical tiredness? Is it mental tiredness? What is it that United needs to fix going into the first round?
I will say, it pops into my mind every so often that it's concerning how many of our players are having knee injuries. Like, is that a training issue? Is it like the pitch that they're practicing on? No, because some of the injuries have happened at practice, right?
Christian's was a non-contact injury.
Okay.
So we do know, Christian's was at practice, but we do know it was a non-contact injury. I mean, which with an ACL, it can happen if someone just comes down, and the knee buckles. We saw it with Joseph Martinez. We've seen it with Christian. I think, at least with the second one, they were non-contact injuries. It happens. It doesn't really have to do with the quality of the pitch. It's just, you come down on it, and it does. Go back to Amondo's ACL. Nothing there.
That was playing San Diego, right?
San Diego, yeah.
Yeah.
He just running, just came down on it, and there went the ACL. So, Jacob's, kind of disagreeing with you as you're going through some of the criteria here. I mean, what is it?
I think obviously it's never one thing. Mm-hmm. I do not think our pitch helps whatsoever. It is not designed for the intensity that soccer matches are, that you put on your body during a soccer match. In baseball, you are not running for 60 plus minutes. That is not the goal in a baseball game. And so I do think that it has to do with that. It has to do with the fact that the sod never actually takes root. And so there's just issues there that I think, had we not had these injuries, then you could always just say, yeah, the pitch is fine. But when it's one after the other, and we're seeing this kind of stuff, and the majority of them have been at home, I think there's some correlation there. I don't think it's all about it. I think sometimes shit happens. And so it's just kind of unfortunate. But I think
it's
when
concerning.
We're trying to draw a parallel there, I do think it comes down to the pitch. But to your original question, Seth, these last 5 matches have been 100% mental to me. And I don't blame them necessarily. It is difficult when you have, like, you're guaranteed to be in a certain spot in the playoffs. You already clinched your spot. We already clinched the 1 seed, and you're going up against teams that are fighting for their life. There is a difference there. And like, you can say all the right things. You can come out and you can give it your all, but there's a different set of adrenaline glands that you can tap into when it's do or die. Look at last year, how we finished the season. We needed a lot of shit to go our way, and we made it happen as far as what we could control. Justin, welcome. And Harry, I love you. I'm sorry that you guys didn't limit to the playoffs, but At the same time, at least like I'm going to lose years of my life in the next hopefully month. I can guarantee you, because we're not going to come out and win every game 3-0. That's for damn sure. So if we're winning, trust me, it's going to be by a goal, and my heart will be taking a beating for the next month, hopefully. So,
Josh, I do have some information on that, by the way.
So enjoy not having to worry about that, Harry. But yeah, to me, we will see if we are able to bounce back and be able to go balls to the wall when everything's on the line come Sunday. But it's really hard to, in my opinion, to match the intensity of teams that are fighting for their lives or fighting for a home game or something like that when you don't have anything to play for. And especially like you see Turi go down, you see Abdi go down, you see Harry go down. Like there's a level of cautiousness that you subconsciously start to take and have happen where there's a 50-50 challenge that's like, man, I don't know if I'm going to get there. We don't really need it. I don't want to get hurt. Maybe they don't go into a full bore. Maybe they let it go. I think I saw a lot of that in this Memphis game at times where it'd be like a loose ball in the middle of the pitch. And normally you're seeing Marco and Zico and Josu go balls to the wall to get there, and they were a step slower. And I think that's all mental. I think it's all just self-preservation going into the playoffs. And I wouldn't be surprised if that comes back and bites us in the ass necessarily, and we can't flip that switch. But
sorry, I'm laughing at Justin's comment about the TIFO. I think that's a great TIFO idea.
Coach did talk about that physicality aspect. He talked about, when guys, when they lose first, the first header of the game, the first aerial duel of the game, they don't rebound, they don't get back up, they don't fight for it, they're not being physical guys. And I don't know, maybe to your point, maybe they're right. Maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they are just self-preservation, for the playoffs. I don't know.
And I don't think if you ask them, I don't think they would be like, yeah, that's what we're doing. I think it's the lizard part of their brain back here in the back that they're not necessarily thinking about it up front. But when you take in police work, we talk about the totality of circumstances a lot. And so when you're looking at the totality of circumstances, like going up against Memphis, it's like, hey, yes, we want to put on a good show for the fans here, but also we know we're going to be here next week against Phoenix in a do or die game. I want to make sure that I can give 120% that day. So maybe I just give 80 this day. It's not something that they're like really, 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 really thinking about, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's what's going on in the back of their head.
Yeah, I think it's such a mixed bag. All of the things that you said, just mentality of all the teams that have been playing against us since we were in first place in May.
May 25th is when we've been in. We've been in first
place. Bonkers how long they stayed in first place, and so everyone's going to give their all against the first place team. All of these injuries. I mean, they've had a lot to contend with for sure.
Yep, that it is. So, all right, well, let's just move right into it. I mean, we've been hinting at it, talking about it. Here is your playoff bracket. Yeah,
this one, right? No, which one?
It's similar. It was right about that.
Okay.
So there was a similar question asked of Ron Patel during the tour, the pre-match tour, for those of you who have ever been a part of that, up in the press box on Saturday. And what Ron said is that somewhere in the next 9 to 48 months.
We will have a stadium, or we will break ground on a stadium.
He said we'll have a stadium somewhere in the next 9 to 48 months. There are still some kinks that are having to be worked out, obviously, with all the legal stuff that's going on. Ron couldn't give any more details than that.
Hold on, let's break that down for a second, because I find the 9 way more interesting than the 48 there.
Yeah,
because we are not having a brand new stadium in 9 months. That is not going to happen.
Probably not.
So is there a possible temporary stadium or something like that that he is suggesting? I'm very curious about that now. That is something that yeah, okay. All right, cool.
I have no idea.
Cool.
But no, like that was a question that was asked of Ron on Saturday, and that was the answer that he gave. He could not give more details on that. Obviously with the ongoing potential for legal things with those communities, my understanding in talking to some different folks, not Ron Patel, is that it's approximately 24 people that are complaining. So, that's what's holding up the stadium right now. So, the club is still working through everything. Obviously we know that the club has made all sorts of accommodations. They've changed designs, they've changed layouts, they've added this and that and the other to try to reduce noise pollution, light pollution, all this kind of stuff. The club is doing everything they can. So,
at least we're not Sacramento, right? I don't know if you guys saw the conversations over on Reddit about what their fans are going through.
That's a mess.
At least we know our owner is invested and trying, and the president is trying as hard as he can, and it's going to be real interesting. But yeah, it's about as clear as mud now.
Mm-hmm. That it is. Justin, lots of questions once we get stadium iced up staff members. Yeah. That and so we're making do with what we have for now. Now, obviously, once we get the stadium, the club will be able to bring in the staff and the personnel and set the rules and all that kind of stuff. We knew this was going to be the thing. We knew this is what we're going to have to deal with until we get a stadium. So my guess is 2026 we have a stadium. So that would
be great. Yeah,
that it would.
First, obviously 2025 we're going to be there because they're posting about come meet your potential season ticket seats, right? So
yep,
obvious. It's definitely not going to be 9 months.
Yeah, no. Yeah, and now to be fair, there's probably more than enough laborers in the state to make it happen, but I don't think it will. So, but yeah, so that's the update that I have as far as the stadium goes. But yeah, playoffs. Here's your bracket. I did verify there will not be reseeding after every round.
Yay!
Straight bracket. So based off the results on Saturday, Sacramento fell all the way to the 5, losing in their final regular season match. Las Vegas also lost. They fell to the 4. Colorado won and jumped to the 2. Memphis, with their win, jumps to 3. So, yeah. So we get the winner of Las Vegas and Sacramento. Should we beat Rising on Sunday. And then, looking over at the East, North Carolina squeaks in. Pittsburgh gets in. Colorado, obviously, they've been a contender in the West all season long. They get up to the 2 slot. Vegas hosting a match. There was a possibility that Vegas could have had that too. Sacramento could have had the 2. There were a lot of different things that could have happened on Saturday. This is where we're at. This is your playoffs. I do want to note quickly that every match in the quarterfinal round of the playoffs is on ESPN Plus, except for us. We are on CBS Sports Network.
So
that makes sense,
pitch
though, right?
Looks better now.
Like that clearly makes sense, though. We're on a Sunday. That's when they need programming. We're playing our rival. We've been the best in the West. Like, it makes perfect sense. When you look at those other matchups, the only other one that in the West, especially, that jumps out is Sacramento and Vegas, just for a plethora of reasons. The other 2 are kind of just like, meh, okay. And in the East, obviously, you could look at Louisville, but I think Louisville draws well. I don't know if North Carolina does, whereas on the West side, you get 2 teams that draw really well. And so it makes sense. And like I'm okay with it. I know it's going to piss some people off because of all this stuff, but as I've said before, this is what we asked for when we got rid of DirecTV and Dish and all that, because we wanted more freedom. That means you have to buy more shit if you want the same amount of stuff that you had in the past. So don't complain about it to the USL and to New Mexico United and all that. Like it's our own damn faults. Us millennials, us older millennials especially, it's our fault.
That it is. Yeah. So talking about Lou City, obviously, Lou. He said Lou draws well, right? Justin quickly, yes, there is a tailgate plan for next Sunday. I can tell you that.
Looks fun.
Yeah, there is a tailgate plan. So yeah, they were talking about it. It should be interesting.
They're going to have a DJ and a video gaming truck or something, and free hamburgers.
Free Blake's, a lot of burgers, yeah.
Blake's, yeah.
Oh, there you go. I might actually go early. Go outside for once. So speaking of, Christina, you were mentioning earlier the issues with Sacramento on social media with their owners and whoever their, whoever the other mouthpiece is. That's what he's being called. North Carolina is a club that's been tossed around as potentially not being back next year. There is a rumor thread over on Reddit. North Carolina, apparently the owner is shopping the club. So North Carolina, there's possibly they may not be back this season, which is sad. I would hate to see that, especially given the fact that they came back in to the championship this year. Obviously worked their way into the playoffs. So that would be disappointing. And obviously with the investment into Miami is not going anywhere. So, but yeah, so I mean, this is what we're doing. I mean, Sunday, obviously for New Mexico United, it's a do or die, so yeah, Josh, like I said, Miami just announced some new investors, so they're not going anywhere, at least next season.
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, Sunday's do or die for New Mexico. 5 matches winless coming in against the rising side that beat us last time out at home. We did beat them in Wild Horse, Phoenix, Scottsdale, wherever their stadium is back earlier in the year. And so, I mean, this is a match. Like if we lose on Sunday, first of all, is this a giant letdown for the season? Is making the playoffs enough at this point, or do we need a win here?
Why would you start so pessimistically? Like,
I'm just.
Why do you have to go there?
We're gonna get through all of it.
Well, let's see. Who was it? Josh who said that he'd be pretty upset. Yeah, if we lose, it'd be the saddest, most heartbreaking end of the season. Particularly because it's Phoenix. I mean, oof, that's gonna hurt real bad.
Well, yeah, I asked Will on Saturday. I said, does the fact that it's rising give you guys a little bit more motivation? Because it shouldn't. Yeah, they're a rival club, but we're good enough to beat anybody. Like if we can't get up for a match against anybody, then that's a problem. It shouldn't matter who it is.
I mean, the players all come and go, right? So that hatred amongst players back in 2019 probably doesn't really extend to 2024, but the fan hatred is still there. So I think as fans, we feel like it matters. I could understand why for players it doesn't matter.
Fair point. Jacob, I mean, you didn't like the negativity that I tried to bring in there to start with. I mean, talk about what is it, how important is this match to you as a fan? How important is to this club? I mean, how important is it that we do get a playoff win finally?
Well, we have a playoff win.
I know, but playoff win at home, first ever playoff match,
This is exactly what I didn't want. Like, I did not want to lose against Memphis and then have Phoenix be the 8th seed, because it just sets up all these narratives that I shouldn't let bother me, because there's a lot of pessimistic people in the United World, and I am not one of them. But man, if I'm almost more from a personal standpoint, if we lose because of my internal optimism, I will take a step back and say, look, this is still the best season we've ever had. I am somebody that values the regular season, I think, a little bit more than the postseason to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
I think that winning the West over a 34-game season speaks more to who we really are, as opposed to a one-off game that we know anything can happen. So, from a personal perspective, I'll be okay to look at it and be like, that was a successful year. It was a great year. I'm going to remember a year. I'm going to remember it fondly. And it's something that we can build off of going into next year. That being said, if we lose to Phoenix, I am deleting this almost my social media. It will not exist, at least for the offseason. We will, I will take probably a good 2 weeks off of the pod, if not longer. And I will become a hermit because holy cow, the sky is going to be falling. I mean, the sky's already falling. We haven't even lost in the playoffs yet. But spoiler alert, I don't think that happens. I don't know if we're good enough to kind of flip that switch necessarily, but I don't think Phoenix is great. Phoenix has proven to us that they're not a high quality team, at least this season. And so I think we're clearly the better squad and it'll be fine. So I don't even want to think about the negativity, Seth. I would much rather think about what I think is actually going to happen, and that's W.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. No one wants to focus on the negative. However,
yet that's what you bring up first.
as we all know, there are people, throughout the nation. We've talked about it, tonight and other nights, that are eternally pessimistic, right? I don't see myself as a pessimistic person. I do try to be optimistic about this club and the future, but I also try to look at where we are and how we're playing, right? For this club, for the history of this club, this is a massive moment. It really is. First home playoff match, a chance to do that against a rival, a chance to, move on and host potentially throughout the playoffs, depending upon other results. So I do think this is a massive moment. I don't think the moment's going to be too big for the players. I don't think it's going to be too big for coach. I think they're going to physically be ready. It's going to come down to the mentality that they have on Sunday. Are they able to switch on and stay on for the full 90? Because that's something we've talked about, something I've talked to coach about, it's something we've all talked to coach about. It's I brought up with coach on Saturday. I said, the idea of being consistently inconsistent, and he agreed. That's exactly what it is. So if we can put together a consistent 90-minute performance, this is going to be a big moment for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see it as any sort of a negative. I do think, again, I do think, best season in club history, best on-field performance, best point total. We've done a lot of good things this year, despite the injury issues and all the things surrounding with the stadium and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to see it end here.
For sure.
I think we're also going to have to set the intention that we're going to have a great reffing crew who's going to be able to manage the game, especially against a team like Diving. I also think that the stadium staff need to be prepared for rivalry fans to be in the stadium. Last time they were here, there was some issues, I think, that came up.
What?
But I
Rising
think
fans are so nice.
Aren't they just the loveliest?
Well, Owen decided to shit on the airport when he was here a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
that guy.
Yeah.
That took me a second, but I do know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think it's going to be a full 90 minutes of solid soccer from us. That's just hasn't who we've been, especially the second half of the season. One thing I like, though, and that I'm kind of hanging my hat on, is that this team is scrappy. Like we have been scrappy all year.
Mm-hmm.
And so even if we find ourselves in a precarious position with 75 minutes left, like we're not out of it by any means. And so that is something that I think previous teams I've been concerned about, even though, I mean, like you look at our Open Cup run in 2019, you look at the playoff run that we had, I believe that was 21. Like we've had good moments where we've fought back and kept our head in there. And this team is no different. And I think it's even better at doing that than past teams. And so even if we're down 1-0 going into the 60th, 70th minute, like hope is not all lost, even if Phoenix is going to be pulling out all the time wasting shenanigan bullshit stops that they can. And so I think I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it for sure. And it is a huge, huge moment in this club's, albeit short, history. That being said, we've seen teams, I mean, Sacramento and Phoenix both have gone into the playoffs as a 1 seed and lost in the first round. And so it's not inconceivable for something like that to happen. But I mean, I look at this whole season has been kind of a season of parity. And yes, we clinched with like 3 or 4 weeks left, but at the end of the day, any of these teams on this bracket right here that you're looking at can beat any of these other teams. And so it's going to be a tough trip throughout these playoffs, even if we advance.
Yep. That it will be. All right. It is time for the annual Somos Mas playoff bracket challenge. Let's start with, you know what? We'll do us last. How about that? We'll do us last. Close out the show with that. Let's start all the way over on the East. Let's do Battery and River Hounds. And we will get Earl's and Harry's picks off air as well to make sure we have all of them written down and ready to go. And then we'll see who comes out on top at the end. So, all right. Who wants to go first?
Go ahead, Christina.
I want to see Battery win simply so I can keep seeing their, what is it, a raccoon?
A raccoon.
I want to see Battery make it all the way to the finals and come to the lab, and I'd love to see that raccoon carry on.
All right, fair enough. Jacob?
I think I know there's going to be an upset. Like one of these teams that you look at as like unbeatable is going to lose. And so the ones I'm looking at are obviously us. Well, not even us, because fun fact, the USL show had 4 people predicting the playoffs tonight, and only one of them predicted New Mexico United to win. And so I guess we're the underdogs.
Shocker.
No, I doubt it. Maybe it is, though. Maybe he's reverse jinxing us. Because honestly, I don't want Phil to pick for us at all with the way his season has gone.
Yeah.
I look at Louisville and I look at Charleston, and I just think one of them might, like, I just have a gut feeling that one of them is going to lose. When I'm looking at the matchups, I think it could be Pittsburgh. And so I'm going to do it. I'm going to pick against most people, I'm assuming. And I'm going to say Lily Ball gets it done against a Charleston team that has been fantastic all year. But I think Bob Lilly game plans to take Arcanic out and make somebody else beat them, and I don't think they get it done. I think it's 1-0 Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Classic Bob Lilly Ball score
Wow,
line.
you're even given a score line.
Just for that one.
Interesting pick there. I mean, obviously, Bob Lilly knows what he's doing, right? He's been around the league a long time. He understands what it takes to win. Now, Lily Ball has not been Lily Ball this season. Riverhounds kind of backed their way into the playoffs, managing to get in at the last moment. I mean, they're certainly talented, but Battery has been one of the best teams all season, and I don't see them losing here. So I'm going Battery.
They've got the raccoon on their side, and they're black and yellow.
That they are.
What's Pittsburgh?
Yeah. All right, let's keep going up to East. Tampa Bay, Detroit City.
Sorry, I'm typing them as we go, so
Okay.
I know who stands where. This one's tough, man.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
Detroit has been a really good team.
And they're at
all
home.
season. They're at home. They're a 3 seed. They've been the 3 seed for a while. Tampa has kind of been up and down all year. They're probably relieved to be playing on the road though, with the floods or with the hurricane and stuff, and not being able to play in an actual home stadium. I think I shot my shot with Pittsburgh, and so I'm gonna go chalk here. Because I think Detroit's just, I think they're clearly the better team. And if Tampa Bay wins, even though name recognition, you might say Tampa Bay is not the upset. But I think with what we've seen on the pitch this year, over 34 matches, Detroit's clearly the better team, and I don't think there's an upset here. So I'm going to go DCFC.
Okay.
And that hurts because I didn't even have them in the playoffs. I've been a Detroit City hater every year they've been in the USL Championship, and so picking them here hurts my heart a little bit.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Detroit too. They're playing at home. It's a veteran squad. They've played together for a long time. Kind of possibly some last hurrahs with a lot of those players. I could see them pulling one out with being at home in front of their fans.
Yeah, I look at this one, and Detroit was better. I don't know if I don't know if the gap is that big though. I don't think it is. Obviously
they've been way more consistent.
They have, yeah.
I think Tampa's highs might be higher, but Detroit has been consistently good all year. They haven't had a slump like Tampa Bay has, and so that's why I'm saying they've been the better team. I don't know if they've necessarily been like the most talented team out of the two, but I think that consistency means something right now.
Yeah. I think the problem here with this match, and what I'm going to come back to, is Cal Jennings and Manuel Arteaga, two of the top goal scorers in the league this year. And I don't think that Detroit is going to have enough to beat them. Now, the last time out, Detroit did beat Tampa Bay on the road, but at Keyworth, it was a 1-1 draw. So I like what Tampa is doing. I think they're a solid team. I do think Detroit has been better. They've gotten a few more results, positive results, than the Tampa Bay has this year. That's the only difference between the two of them this year. So I'm going to go Tampa here. All right, Rhode Island, our friends over there from Raising Anchor Podcast, as well as Indy 11, the 4-5 matchup in the East.
I think Rhode Island's going to take this one.
Okay.
That's a stacked squad. I was really glad that we played them early in the season before they really got to really meld and get to know each other. I think it's going to be cool to see them progress through playoffs. I think they'll be Indy.
Go ahead, Seth.
Yeah, I agree with Christina. Like, it's you watch this Rhode Island squad early in the season compared to where they are now, and it's night and day. They are vastly better, and if not for the slow start to the season, I think you're looking at them as potentially a 3 seed. Now, I know I had them squeaking into the playoffs this year in their first season, but I mean this squad, they're superbly talented. And I do think that they have the chance. And the 4-5 is always hard to pick. It really is. I believe in their two matchups this year, I believe there was a 3-3 draw and a 1-0 win for Indy. So this could either be super high scoring or nobody scores at all. But I'm going with Rhode Island.
Yeah, you already know where I'm going. I had Rhode Island hosting a playoff game. I love what they've done with their squad. I love the fact that they're coming together. They just put up 8 goals, albeit it was against the equivalency of a high school team in Miami.
Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that 8 is a little
inflated.
Yeah, thank you. But that being said, their offense is clicking right now. I haven't been high on Indy all season, and so Rhode Island for sure is my pick there.
Yeah, it was a crazy match. I stopped watching at 6-1. They had 5 goals in the first half in that match. At times, I wasn't sure that Miami even had 11 players on the field. So that was fun to watch. Fun to see where they're at now. All right, the 1-8 over in the East. Jacob, you talked about potential upsets here. Does North Carolina, in their first season back in the championship, do it? No.
I like North Carolina. I like some of the talent they have. I like that they kept a lot of their roster from USL League One that won the championship there and brought them up. I think that kind of why can't I think of words tonight? Having them build through that is a good way to build, but at the same time, Lou City is it's Lou City. We saw what they did Phoenix on Saturday. I don't expect them to lose here, so no, it's got to be Lou City to me.
Okay. Yeah, I don't. Lou City's just too good. North Carolina, squeaked their way into the playoffs. I don't think I even had North Carolina in.
You did not.
I didn't think I had them in, but I mean, good on them. First season back in the championship, getting back into the playoffs, but they're not good enough. They're not good enough for Blue City. So Justin taking North Carolina. Interesting. Okay. Interesting pick there, Justin. I mean,
I'm going to hope you're right, Justin.
It would be interesting if it did. I don't think they will. I think Lou City's just year after year. Lou City continues to put out quality clubs, and it's hard. It's really hard to pick against them at any point. So if you need any further proof of what's going to happen this one, North Carolina is 3-10-3 on the road this season. They've lost 10 matches away from their home pitch. So not a lot of confidence going that way. Look at the results to do. In August, Lou City beat North Carolina 6-4. And then where's the other one? Lou City won the first one back in June 2-1. So yeah. That was a weird match for Lou City on that one. So all right, over to the West. Let's start at the bottom. Colorado, Oakland.
Colorado, duh.
Really? Okay.
I think they've been doing well as of late.
Mm-hmm.
It's at their home. Oakland just got a pretty bad beat down.
Yeah, Oakland is terrible right now. They've been sliding ever since the Oakland A's season has ended. Oh wait, that ended like when it began. Sorry,
in March.
Sombrero man. And so yeah, there's no way I'm picking against Colorado Springs. I watched that Colorado Springs Sacramento match. It was just textbook smash and grab. on the road for Colorado Springs to get that 2 seed, and I don't think Oakland has the horses to run with them whatsoever.
Yeah, Oakland 1 win in their last 5 matches, not a good form to head in the playoffs with. This Oakland team, they've hung around all season long. They played really well early on. They hung right there, middle of the playoff section. And I want to see Oakland do well. I think they have the potential to, but not this weekend. I think right now their form, they're off. They're not playing well. And Colorado is just good.
Justin with a great comment in the chat. They lucky Vegas already has a team, or they would be moving, like every other professional team in Oakland. That's a good one.
Yeah. All right, Memphis, Orange County.
So this is my upset in the West. Obviously Memphis just came in, took 3 points from us. I'm really liking what Orange County is doing of late. They were out of the playoffs 3 weeks ago when we started the real playoff push previews that we've been doing on the pod, and they stormed back. They're all the way up to 6th. There was no way they were going to catch the top 5, but they did it. They did as best as they could, and they're playing really good soccer. They came in and beat us here not very long ago. I just like what they're doing, and Memphis is fine. They're a solid team. They've kind of been in that 5 spot for the majority of the season. And, of course, the win against us gets them a home playoff game. But I think it's all for naught, and I think they go home or they stay home.
Okay. Christina?
Oh, that one feels like a toss-up. Orange County hasn't really been... They're more of a defensive kind of team, right? Not so much attacking.
Yeah, they're not coming out and beating teams.
Yeah,
3-0, 3-1, 3-2, but they're just scrappy and they get results, and they've got players that have talent. They're not necessarily putting away teams, but no, they're definitely a scrappy defensive bunch.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Orange County pulling off the upset in Memphis's home.
Yeah, this was hard. Orange County is coming in some of the best form of anybody in the Western Conference right now. Yes, Memphis did beat us. Yes, they're coming in with 4 unbeaten. Orange County's won 3 of 5. The score lines, those, I believe, 3-2 over the weekend, 0-0, 2-0, 2-0, and 1-1 or 0-0 going back. So, they've to kind of go against Jacob's point a little bit. They are putting people away. They've got 2-0 wins over El Paso, 2-0 wins over Colorado, 3-2 win at the weekend. I believe that was over Hartford. 3-2 over Hartford. So yes, they are a highly defensive team. You see the score lines there. 3 consecutive clean sheets. They're in the middle against 2 playoff teams, and then the bottom of the barrel. So I think this is one. No one is terribly flashy on that team. You don't have guys like Ronaldo Damas anymore, but this is a well-coached club. They know how to play together. They know what they're supposed to do. They're perfectly capable of sitting in that low block, which I think you're going to see against Memphis, especially with them being on the road. So I do think this is Orange County's to lose here. So I'm going the 6 over the 3. All right, 2 more to go. Las Vegas, Sacramento.
So who do you want to see, and who do you think will win?
Good point.
That's a very good point. If I had to pick, I would rather want to see Sacramento in the second round. But I think Vegas is just too good. I think Vegas is one of the better teams in the West. They've been right there all season long. Tremendous turnaround. And Sacramento has just been on a downslide for the past month and a half, give or take.
I mean, I think it's even
might even be a little bit longer than that. I'd have to go back and look, but
it's really a win against us. And then other than the win against us, I don't think they've been good for like 2 months.
Yeah, I'd say it's been a while, but yeah, I have no faith in this Sacramento club right now. Not playing well. They're coming in on at least 5 winless, closing out the season with 3 losses and 5. Yeah, they're a team struggling with their identity right now. You look at the results, lost to Colorado, lost to El Paso, draws with Memphis and Monterey, lost to San Antonio. So you've lost to 2 teams that are out of the playoffs. You've lost to 1 playoff team and drawn with 2 other clubs. So it's I have no faith in Sacramento, as I want to see them, but I think it's Vegas.
I feel like I'd rather see Vegas in the second round, simply because if we didn't beat them, I wouldn't feel super sad about them moving forward. I would be salty if Sac beat us and moved on. And I'm sick of playing Sac in the playoffs too. Mm-hmm. I'm over that. So I'm going to be rooting for Vegas, even though they're a better squad, and even though Asante is on that team, the king of diving. I'm rooting for Vegas. I also think they're going to beat Sac. So I think my answer is both. Vegas.
Okay.
Oh, see, I'm going to be the contrarian here. Vegas, fantastic story. One of the best stories of the season by far. They're kind of limping too. Like, they destroyed Birmingham back on the 13th of October. And then with a chance to basically clinch the 2 seed, they fumble it mightily against Oakland in Vegas, and then they go on the road to end the season against North Carolina, a team that, yes, was fighting for their playoff lives, but Vegas was also fighting for, a home playoff game. They didn't know at the time, because they played so early. They didn't know what Sacramento was going to do. So if Sacramento doesn't shit the bed, then this is very easily in Sacramento. And so Vegas hasn't been fantastic these last 2 matches either. So when I see that both teams are kind of struggling coming in, I'm going to look at, just a little bit of past history and a little bit of playoff experience. I think no matter what happens with Vegas, I think you look at it as a huge success this year, a huge thing to build off of. Sacramento, on the other hand, they had championship aspirations going into the season, and I don't think they're going to go down quietly. And I want to face Sacramento. I want to get that monkey off our back of playing Sacramento in the playoffs if we get past Phoenix, of course. And so, spoiler alert, I have us going through all 3 teams that I think would be our biggest rivals, looking at this bracket, since El Paso isn't in it. And so I think it's Sac, and I hate to do that, because, like Christina said, like, if Vegas ends up moving on and beating Sacramento and then even beating us, or playing Phoenix, like, if it's Phoenix Sacramento, I'm not going to watch that match whatsoever, and I'm going to be paying attention to the lower side to see who comes out of there, because I'll throw up if Sacramento or Phoenix win another championship or win a championship this year. And so, in a perfect world, I think Sacramento gets out and we beat Sacramento in the second round. And so that's what I'm going to go with for now.
Okay. All right. Last match of the weekend. So we start Friday night with Las Vegas and Sacramento. That is an 8:30 p.m. Mountain kickoff, by the way. So make sure you're keeping an eye on that. We're on ESPN Plus. And then Sunday night, 6 o'clock, us, Phoenix Rising, at the Lab. Who we got?
Black and yellow, duh. I ain't voting against our guys.
All right.
Jacob said it earlier, they're scrappy. And I think, they're New Mexicans now. And that's what us New Mexicans do. We're the underdogs. It's New Mexico versus everybody. They've got that tough mentality. And yeah, I think they just can't lose to Phoenix at home. Again.
Well, okay, I was gonna say, to be fair, we just did a couple weeks ago. So
I wasn't there, it doesn't count.
Okay. Perfect. This is hard. My heart says us, my head says us. But we're playing like dog water right now. We have moments, we have glimpses of things. We have not had a consistent 90-minute performance in some time. We haven't had a consistent 80-minute performance in some time. So the objective part of me is struggling, but after talking to Will and Marlon and Coach Saturday night, I think this team is going to be ready. I think the guys who are put in that team sheet on Sunday are going to be up to the task. This is a match that's going to mean a lot to a lot of people, for the club, for the community. And yes, I think that is a lot of weight for them to have to carry.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we get it done. We move on, and then we get, I think we move on and get to the next round. So there you go. Post-match interviews need to be done like Saturday from now on too. What do you mean? I'm curious about that. I'll let Justin answer that. Go ahead.
Yeah,
it sounded like it was down on the pitch. Was it down on the pitch?
In the dugout.
Post-match?
It's been in the dugout all year.
Yeah.
Oh, has it?
Been in the third base dugout or first base dugout.
Oh.
Yeah, look, Phoenix is not a good team. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. They are the 8th seed for a reason. If you watch the 2 matches that we have played against them, yes, it is 1 win apiece, but they have not looked good in those matches. In that second match, they took the lead off of a mistake and a bad goal, and then they dove for 40 minutes. Like, they are not the better team. We are the better team. That doesn't mean we always win, but I do like our chances considering the fact that we just played them at home and lost. I think that we will be fired up. We finally have something to play for. I'm convinced that the last few matches have been hard to get up for because there's just nothing on the line. Everything's on the line. I think that if you ask Brucey or Kalen or Harry if he's able to play, like this match will mean more because it's Phoenix. I know Seymour said otherwise, but you can't convince me otherwise that they don't see that red stupid soccer bird on the other kit and don't get a little more fired up. Especially when we bring it harder as fans against Phoenix than we do against other teams. I mean, that match was a Wednesday night. It wasn't super packed, but man, was it loud. And so to me, it lines up where we can get this win because I don't think Phoenix is that good, and we finally have something to play for. I think we might be a little slow at the gate. And I'm a little nervous if Phoenix scores or gets the lead in the second half at all, that they'll pull their stupid diving shenanigans because they know that they're the worst team and they got to revert to that kind of witchcraft to try to get the win. And so to me, it lines up really good for us. I didn't want to see Phoenix mainly because the nervous side of me. If we do end up losing, I think it's going to be a nightmare, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think we come out on top, and I'll go so far to say that it's a clean sheet and a multiple goal victory for us.
There you go. Bold prediction from Jacob there. So to that quickly from Josh, the on-screen Bruce interview. Yeah, that's something new. They're trying that
cool.
out. They did put that up at the end of the match. I don't think they're going to do more than like one person at the end of the match, but they did want to do that, given the fact, regular season finale. It might be something going forward. So we didn't get to talk to Brucey. That was just something they did within the stadium. As a thing for the fans. So that's what that was. I think they're going to continue with it going forward. I'm not 100% sure though. So quickly, this here is there was a poll over on the USL Pro subreddit that asked people, who their rivalries were. Yeah. So
poor Colorado.
Yeah. Apparently no one hates Monterey Bay. So yeah. So, but yeah. All right. So there you have it. That's our playoff quarterfinal predictions. We got New Mexico United and Phoenix Rising Sunday, 6:00 on CBS Sports Network. If you're not going to be in the stadium, but if you are there, be there. This is going to be a big tailgate on Sunday. Get out, support. I hope to see a massive crowd on Sunday for this game. So we had over 10,000 reported for this regular season finale. So let's hope it's even bigger on Sunday. I don't have anything else. Anybody have any closing thoughts?
All right, both of you going to be at the match?
I should be.
I should be. Answer, okay.
I think I'll try to make the tailgate too.
Oh, I think I have a babysitter lined up. So.
Oh, okay.
I think I haven't gotten the person that's supposed to be doing hasn't texted me back. So like they gave me an initial yes, but I'm like, okay, well, hey, do you want me to bring them to you? Do you want to come here? They haven't answered me. So gotcha. Yeah, we'll see. But that's all that I have. So okay. All right. Well, Jacob, get us out of here.
Josh, Justin, as always, thank you over there. Team Jacob, Captain over there, Harry. Brief pop in, but I appreciate it. Everybody that's watching, get in the chat if you're watching and you're not chatting. Like the chat's fun. We enjoy seeing your guys' thoughts and takes on things. So get over there. If you're listening to this at a later date and you can't chat, do us a favor. Leave a rating and review on whichever podcast player you're listening on. And most importantly, go to the lab on Sunday. And any game that happens after that. Like this is huge. You're not the 1 seed every year. I think we've had pretty much a different 1 seed every year that we've done this. Of course, COVID kind of made that a little challenging to figure out who the exact number 1 seed was, but that's neither here nor there. This has been a special season. I think it can continue to be a special season, but we need you guys at the lab. So go support the team, be there. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, it's great. And then from here on out, you don't know when the last chance you're going to be able to go to the lab is. It could be Saturday or Sunday. It could be 2 weeks from now. It could be 4 weeks from now. I don't know. But because of that, you want to be there every time that we take the pitch for the rest of 2024. And let's end this season on a high note, both on the pitch and in the stands. Christine and Seth, thank you guys, of course, for coming on. Sorry I couldn't make it last week. It was kind of a crazy week, but won't miss it again. I will be at the match on Sunday for sure. And so we might try to do something special over there, especially since it's a 6 o'clock kickoff instead of 7. I could actually maybe stick around to do a little post game, something or other, if you guys can. We'll talk about that off air though. Again, thank you everybody. Super pumped, very nervous. I don't like that. I don't like when my teams are good, because then it, like I said earlier, it takes years off my life. And so, super excited. Fuck Phoenix, and we'll be back next week to hopefully preview a Sacramento or Vegas match and talk about our first home playoff win. And until then, guys, somos unidos and love you.